It's the Poker News Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 835th episode of the Poker News Podcast. I'm Chad Holloway at Level 9 Studio, joined by two future Poker Hall of Famers, Shaun Deeb, Josh Arieh of Team Lucky. Gentlemen, thank you for taking time away from the WSOP to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. It's rough this summer with the schedule, but we're a little late, but we're here.
It is early in poker time, if you will, but we've got some great stories. We're going to talk World Series of Poker, big winners. But one of the things I want to talk about right off the top is Team Lucky. You're wearing the hat. We have the badges on PokerNews.com. We talked about this. We're going to have an article up on Poker News. We talked about it when we had a breakfast earlier at the WSOP. What is Team Lucky all about? Everybody's been hearing it. Who wants to tell us how this came about?
Josh can lead the intro. He has the best explanation of it.
Is this really episode 835?
It is.
Wow.
2010, November 2010 was the debut. Now, it's not always been in studio on camera like this, but yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
That's pretty cool.
Are you like the 20th official host? You guys keep track?
Yeah, we haven't kept track of the host, but yeah, I'm definitely up there.
So Team Lucky, let's see. Well, back in, I think it was
2017.
2017. Fortnite was just coming around, and we were a bunch of old guys that were playing Fortnite. It was my first video game. I don't even know why I tried it, but probably shouldn't have. We started playing, and it was me, Matt, Dan, and Shaun, and we would always play early in the morning. And then a bunch of poker players started playing when the pandemic hit, and our chat group just grew huge. But me, Dan, Matt, and Shaun really loved playing Fortnite together because it would be nonstop laughter, Shaun making fun of me.
I would yell at them the whole time. I was basically just screaming at Josh and Matt because they were never where they're supposed to be. We're the worst team players. And we would like gamble on kills. We just found a way to have so much fun. Pissed off all our wives and girlfriends at the time.
So we started one of the we started our own little small chat called the Original Morning Crew. And, all of us really help each other a lot in life. And we all have, different strengths. And so we ended up being like four really, really close friends. And we would lean on each other for advice on different things. And then all of us started having great success. And not just in poker, in life. Like all of our lives started to blossom like right around that time. And so at Dan's final table, Shaun was like, you know what? We're Team Lucky. I had 4 bracelets in 3 years. Shaun with his, usual success. And now one of our closest friends is at the main event final table. And so it just, we really are lucky. And
Matt Glantz's $1 million bounty.
Yeah, Matt Glantz's $1 million bounty.
Yeah, that's
I can like Shaun 3 years ago. If you asked Shaun about luck, he didn't believe in luck. It was like he's taught his kids that what is luck, and his kids will say no, it's variance. And then like through the years, like Shaun seeing me succeed is like, yeah, I do believe in luck. So
it's the only explanation that's available. There is mathematical formulas for variance, and his success based on skill level and knowledge, it's impossible. There has to be a variable, and it has to be luck.
And I'm totally fine with that. It's I call me lucky, whatever. I don't care. I don't grind hand histories. I don't worry about playing every single hand perfect. I just try to get lucky at the right time.
I think the greatest explanation of Team Lucky was at the victory party at Musashi. Matt Glantz was getting a ride home with Ben Lamb, a very successful poker player, and he turns to Matt and he goes, "Matt, how does it feel to pull $1 million bounty and be the least lucky person in your crew?" And like the more you think about it, how true it is. Like all the other 3 of us have had insane success so many times. Matt had one ridiculous. Well, he had 2 crazy things happen in his career, but it's awesome. We have so much fun rooting for each other. I think that my 2018 year that I won Player of the Year and 2 bracelets. Every single regular break of the tournaments, we were all running to the stage to play Fortnite, and we were late to going back to tournaments so frequently. And I gave Fortnite a lot of credit because I just had fun. I want to stay in tournaments to get to the next break, to be playing with all of us, to play a 10-minute squad game. We couldn't even finish it out. We just get up there, get the mics on, and start yelling at each other and go back to play poker.
There was a story at breakfast I remember you telling, I don't know if it was you and Glantz, never had won a game until one time they did.
Yeah, so that was me and Eric Wasserson kept betting against Matt and Josh. They'd played about 1,200 duos. There's actually stats. So they played 1,200 duos. They'd never won a game. So anyone who plays Fortnite, it's not that hard to win a game, but they could not win one. So I laid them 6-1 over 4 hours. Then they end up winning 32,500 off me. And I hope we can find the VOD of it because Matt was Twitch streaming it because why not? And yeah, so they won a bunch of money off me and they talk shit to this day about it. And that's, me, Josh, Matt, and Dan can gamble real big versus each other, stay friends most of the time. And it's a lot of fun.
Matt, also, you mentioned the least lucky winning the $1 million bounty. He usually focuses on cash games, but one of the things that came out of that breakfast we had is he's going to grind the tournaments this year. He's trying to win a bracelet himself.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot of tournament stuff, and he's just I want to get this monkey off my back. You guys keep crushing the World Series. You guys seem to have more fun than me. As much as he loves this cash game crew, he can play with them year round. So he, came into this summer, and that was one of our goals for our fantasy team was to 100% get Matt. And yeah, and he's doing great. He has one cash.
It just shows, it shows the variance in what we do. Matt's a hell of a player. His advice and running hand histories past him have really helped me improve.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to Josh and Matt's hand histories know how to play against the fish better.
Well, I do want to get your guys' take, being such staples at the World Series of Poker. There's been some hot topics this past week, specifically regarding face masks and phones, right? There was this picture that was on Twitter about somebody using, I don't know if it was GTO Wizard or something on their phone, and that just led into should phones be banned, and then that also got into the mask debate. And these are topics that Matt Savage said we're probably going to talk about at the TDA Summit that's coming up later on this month. And he did a poll, should phones be banned at the table, and surprisingly, 47% said no phones at the table, 22% said phones allowed, and 30% said don't be dumb, impossible. I lean towards that don't be dumb, impossible. I don't think it's anything that could ever be achieved, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the whole topic.
I think 0% phone should ever be banned. As someone with a family, you need to have access to your phone. I'm fine for no phones at final tables even if they're not being streamed or something. I think that's a fair compromise. I think the higher equity spots, okay, let's remove them out of play. And I'm so mad because I had a great opportunity to make a great photo that would go viral. I was playing the PLO8 tournament, and this 70-year-old man to my left opens up his phone wallet, and in there was an insert that showed the percentages of hands having ace deuce, ace three, ace four. And I want to do a side profile pic and be like, man, these solvers are really out of control. Even the fucking 7-year-olds have it. But I didn't want to ask the guy to take it out because I wanted to be kind of coy with it. But yeah, I think the solvers at the table, listen, you want to study poker, you have plenty of hours away from the table. You have the whole year to do it. I think it's a bad look. It's the same thing about talking strategy. You shouldn't be talking strategy at the table with recreational players because that's going to scare them away from the game. If you hear some of the things that people are doing, they're going to be like, I'm never going to do that. Right. I'm a good player, won a lot of money. And if I hear some of the solver talk in a high roller, I'm like, yeah, there's a reason I don't want to play these. You guys are so obsessed with studying that you make a 0.01 big blind mistake, you're beating yourself up. It's like, poker, me and Josh know you can make a lot of mistakes and still win a lot of money.
Yeah. I have a couple opinions. Number one, solvers, and like Shaun said, all the 0.2 BB and all the bullshit talk about that is, I don't know if I'm just going to say it, nerd talk. That's got to go. There's when you're playing high limits, big buy-in stuff, and you have a fish at the table, that guy's smart. That guy is accomplished. If he has $10,000 to put into a tournament as a rec, don't intimidate him. You don't need to talk all that stuff, because all it's going to do is turn him away. He's going to realize, he already knows he's at a skill disadvantage, and he doesn't want to hear that. And so all that talk needs to go. Definitely the solvers and the graphs. Do your studying at home. There's plenty of time. When you're a poker player, you have a lot of extra time. So do that shit at home. Don't do it at the table. As far as phones themselves being banned, I hope they don't. I want my opponent on the phone. If you're paying attention to the phone, I don't have a hand-for-hand edge against people that play perfect strategy. But when I'm paying more attention than that person, that's going to level the playing field. And so I want phones at the table. I want my opponent to look at his hand, fold, and pick up Twitter and start scrolling.
Right. I think the general consensus, kind of echo Shaun's point too. Like, I know David Prociak, who I'll talk about a little later on in the episode, he said, like, with kids, you kind of need your phone there. There's businessmen who need the phone as well. I know Terrence Chan had tweeted that he understands all that, but one good solution, and I kind of agree with this, is like, if you're going to use your phone, step away from the table, right? I do agree with you, like, because I'm guilty of it. Like, if I fold my hands, I might be, reading PokerNews or sweating the updates
and that's what
at
I
the
want.
table.
I mean, that's I want the person to be studying Twitter instead of looking at me. I mean, that's.
I did think it was interesting. Alec Torelli tweeted out that in Macau, where he's played some of the big cash games, they have banned phones, and that does make for a more social aspect of it.
Well,
I guess.
I think that could also be afraid of people cheating in some way. So,
Fair.
like, I think when you play high enough stakes, it's a little bit different. I think there's been some rumors of some cheating allegations in Triton and some other places with some players using some devices in some way. So I think, that makes it a very different situation. And when it comes to cash games, you can get up and leave whenever you want and do, like, it's a little more optional, but tournaments you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that cash game and tournament rules can definitely be different. And also when it comes to cash games, the players can decide together. Like, they could have one person's like, I need my phone, and everyone's like, okay, we're okay with not doing that. I mean, there you can kind of vote it.
Right.
And so I think that can be made on an individual basis.
The talk of phones at the table reminds me of, I took a lot of shit about 10 years ago. There was I want to say like a 1,500 buy-in at the World Series, and there was a player, I don't remember who it was, but it was a PokerStars pro. And he was an ambassador of the game. It wasn't somebody that we know. I don't remember who it was. I'm not saying anybody. I'm not pointing anybody out in particular. Sure. But he's an ambassador of the game, and he would literally look at his hand, fold, and start scrolling. Never interacted with one person at the table. And I put a tweet out about this person. I don't remember who it was. And basically,
sounds like Jason.
basically saying, you know what, dude, you're an ambassador. You're trying to grow the game, and you're not helping grow the game at all. You have a table full of recs and a table full of people that are essentially adding money to poker's ecology, and they're not even going to remember playing with you. So not only was he not a good ambassador for PokerStars, he's not a good ambassador for poker. When poker began, poker was is a social game. Mm-hmm. It's a game that's built for people to get together and have fun. And obviously, we know it's evolved into a job that can pay for an amazing lifestyle. But we need more money coming in nonstop. And when people are taking money, and like, we take money out of poker, and it is our job to help bring money back into poker by attracting, people, making the game look fun. And that's for a long time, that was a big thing, where, like, there was a lot of people Shaun's age when and I'm not saying this about Shaun, but that generation didn't really understand it, because they were never there when poker's before the boom happened, and the money just wasn't there.
Sure.
So they didn't understand that you're here to entertain.
One of the things you mentioned, about being an ambassador, growing the game, getting more money in the game, you do that a lot by yourself with Poker Stake, right?
Yeah.
Like that's been a great thing.
Poker Stake it's great for poker because there's so many poker fans and so many poker players that just don't get a chance to come to the World Series. I did a poll on Twitter and I asked people, how many events are you going to play? Are you going to play 1 to 5, 5 to 10, not coming? I think like 70% of the people that voted were not coming. So if you start thinking about that, well, I have all these followers that aren't coming. How do we get this money into the poker ecology? I mean, it's 70% of my followers aren't going to put $1 into poker's ecology. And that's where Poker Stake is really good for poker and for all poker players, because we're putting more money into
circulation
into poker circulation, and we don't charge any fees, so every dollar comes into poker's ecology. And we have some great players on the site. Shaun posts once in a while. I post once in a while.
We also have a lot of people with way too high a markup. Markup police is
stop.
It's close to coming out.
Stop. Relax.
No, it's a brewing.
It's I understand Shaun's frustration with that because yes, there are people, but it's an open market. It's a free market, and I leave it that way. I let people and the market has gotten much sharper in the 3 years that we've been open. So the people that charge too much markup, end up forced to get back to what they're worth or what the market averages are.
Another topic I want to talk about real quick is the masks, right? Not the political side of the mask. They're here to stay one way or the other. They were here before the pandemic. There were players who would wear them, what have you. The masks are going to be here. I think the big question now is the other accessories that some players are doing, right? You have a big mask on, you put your hoodie up, you have some sunglasses, or what have you. Like, you can literally not see some players' faces. Should that be allowed? Should that be banned? Should that be addressed by the Tournament Directors Association?
I have less of an issue with that. Yes, it hurts my EV, but if someone feels more comfortable playing that means besides like I forget the high roller who does the neck thing.
Yeah, Christoph Vogelsang.
Yeah. Everyone else who does that, most likely they're not a good enough player. Like, okay, they might play a little online, they're uncomfortable live, but if someone's trying that hard to hide up their physical tells they're doing it to gain an advantage, I'm going to be just fine versus them because they're going to have other leagues that I'll exploit.
Yeah.
You remember the video I took of Vogelsang?
Yes.
That was so funny.
One of your many videos that you got shit for, but one of the other ones got me $1 million. So
yeah, that was good.
Is that the one where he was like running outside?
Yeah, he was jogging really slow. And
it wasn't jogging. As someone who works out now,
but it was like a fast walk, and I was like, Vogelsang's doing sprints. As far as masks go, yeah, I'm. The way I look at it is if you're trying to cover your face, there's a deeper issue. And I remember, that reminds me of my second time playing in the NBC Head Up tournament that it used to happen. And I'm playing Ted Forrest. And at the time, Ted Forrest is a really big deal. It's like 2005. He's been crushing he's been crushing the high stakes poker or high stakes games for a long time. And in the middle of our match, he stands up and looks in the crowd and asks, does anybody have sunglasses? And that was like the biggest compliment I had ever received in my life. Like, this guy plays against the best players in the world, and he thinks that I'm reading him. I was not reading him, but I just look past it. Yeah, I just, if somebody wants to cover their face, it just gives me more confidence that they are insecure. Yeah. And I'll just, there's only so many things that you give away when people stare at you, and I look for other things. So if you're behind a wall, I'll deal with what I have to deal with. I don't care. It's a bad look. Yes, it's a bad look for the game of poker. And, Bob from Illinois isn't going to really want to come play the World Series of Poker when he sees some guy behind a skull mask and ski goggles and a hood on and a penis sweatshirt, pulled up over his neck. That's not going to make that guy want to come play poker.
I mean, I know Bob from Illinois, and he doesn't give a fuck. He'll play no matter what.
Okay.
So,
all right, come on, Bob.
I just think it's also like so antisocial. Like it's hard, I understand some dealers and players want to wear them for health reasons, but like communicating with people with masks, I've been for years wanting headphones banned. I think that's kind of surprising me that hasn't been brought up as often, because I think that's way more likely to have cheating or something else going on. And I just also talk at the table a lot. So if I have 5 people with headphones on, I'm having a miserable time, and I'm trying to bust that tournament every time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that are good for the game, I want to transition into this $1 million bounty, the mystery millions, if you will, and the reaction videos. Before I get to that, so this was a $1,000 mystery millions, event number 5, huge turnout, 18,409 entrants. $1 million first place prize went to Malcolm Trayner out of Australia, and I actually got a quick little winners interview, which I'm going to show right now.
Trayner, winner of $1 million in his first ever World Series of Poker bracelet at just 24 years old. Can you talk to me about the emotions you're feeling right now?
A bit of mix of everything. Lots of excitement, overwhelmed. I can't believe what's happened. A lot of happiness as well.
How do you manage to just keep all the emotions intact and focus on play?
I mean, not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous going in. Like, I made a few mistakes earlier on with folding out of turn and things like that. Once I got used to it and settled, then it was just a matter of doing what I've done a few times or many times before, online and live as well. Just playing final table and just try to disassociate from the money and just think about the chips you have in front of you and just trying to win everyone else's chips. That was my goal.
All your best friends here in Las Vegas, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Have a nice dinner. Get out all the boys, a really nice treat, and I have no idea what to do next apart from a nice dinner. And maybe fly my girlfriend in business class or something.
All right, so congratulations to Malcolm Trayner. His very first WSOP tournament just binks the $1 million, which is nice. And 2 other players got $1 million payout. There were 2 other $1 million bounties. And to say the reactions weren't too exciting would be a bit of an understatement. We actually got videos from both, which we're going to play back to back.
Just show us the one. Show us the one. No, I said, how do you miss it? The first number is a 1. It's got to be it. $1 million!
All right, so there you had it. The 2 reactions, one from Valentine Shebelnick and the other from DJ Buckley. I know DJ pretty well, Shaun. You do too?
Yeah, I'm friends with a lot of that Minnesota crew, so I was able to text one of his close friends as soon as he won it, because when he got up there, I said, this guy I know who he's friends with, he's probably going to hit it. So I literally wrote out the text, he won $1 million, as he pulled it and just hit send, so I made sure I was the first one to text him.
Yeah, I know DJ, and his reaction to me, it was fine. Like, it wasn't over the top by any means. It wasn't when Matt Glantz pulled it and, shouted and held it up. But DJ's been a little low-key guy. The other guy, though, that Valentine was definitely, I don't know if it was just shell shock, because he's like, I got to go. I got to get, my big blinds here. Dude, you just won $1 million.
Sometimes, delayed reaction, or who knows, what PC has or what that will do for him. Sometimes, you kind of hear the whole stories of people hit lotteries and bad things happen to him. Maybe he had that reaction. I don't know. I think one story I like to tell that it needs to be out there more is Matt Glantz when he pulled the bounty.
Yeah.
When he was squeezing it out, he saw 1 comma. There's only one option when it's 1 comma, and he still acted like he was sweating it out and licking his lips. So Matt Glantz officially slow rolled the whole room, and that needs to be out there.
Yeah, he took a page out of your book.
Yeah, I've taught a few tricks to him over the years.
On the flip side of things, there were some big bounty winners in Jake Brown, who took $250,000, Roberto Romanello $500,000, and I thought their reactions were awesome. The sort of thing that the WSOP is no doubt hoping to see. We've got clips of both of those. Here they are.
Oh my God! Dude, I fucking did it, dude! Fuck out of here. Oh my God. Really, this fucking happened? This is for Mom. This is for Mom. Maybe it's $1 million. You squeeze it. Which one is it? That's $250,000 fucking dollars. Right here. Bus boys. Let's go. Let's go. Now I take the tournament down too. Let's go. I don't give a shit.
Number is a 5.
All right, so there you have it. Some big reactions from some big six-figure winners, and just a successful event all around. Another big tournament was event number 10, which was the 10,000 Omaha Hi-Lo 8 or Better Championship, which was won by Scott Seiver for $426,000, his 5th bracelet. And it was interesting because Scott usually plays a lot of cash games during the summer, but he said this summer I want to play tournaments. I want to show people I'm still here. I still got it, because he turns 40 next year, which is Poker Hall of Fame age eligibility. And it's interesting because, in my opinion, you were both going to be in the Poker Hall of Fame. Josh, I know that you were nominated and were considered one of the favorites last year. Shaun, you're 2 years away from being 40?
2 years, yeah.
So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on, Scott Seiver getting his 5th bracelet here, and the fact that he wants to be in the Poker Hall of Fame and thinks he should be first ballot next year when he turns 40.
I think, there's thousands of people want to get in. There are hundreds who deserve to be in. Josh deserves to be in, Osmus, Ted Forrest, Patrick Antonius. It's a crazy group of people. And the fact that it's one a year is such an insult to all of us, because so many people deserve the accolades to call themselves a member. And there's just no reason to limit it to that few people. Poker's too big of a community. There's too many different people who are specialists at particular games or industry people that all deserve the recognition to be in. So I don't know if Josh has the same idea, but as soon as I get in, if I get in, I'm going to just be screaming at the top of my lungs, let's do this right. Let's be inclusive. It should not be this old boys supper club, the same 10 guys from the game voting in one after another in each year. So hopefully at some point it changes. I don't really know who makes the full decision, if it's Caesars or the existing members, but it definitely needs to change. There's too many people turning 40. There's too many people. There's too much of a backlog already of people who deserve to be in. And I think there's such a recency bias. And it's kind of unfortunate, but when there's hundreds of people deserve to be in, whoever's been the headlines more recently, you're going to tend to get their vote. So it's an unfortunate situation, and many deserving people are not in, might never get in. And I think Scott knows that that's what Brian Rast did a few years ago. And if Brian Rast didn't go on that tournament run, Josh would have got in for sure that year.
As far as Shaun goes, Shaun will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Shaun's been a favorite in, if there was one person that you would pick to win Player of the Year every single year, it's always Shaun. Seiver, Shaun and I had dinner with him on day 2 of that tournament, and he seemed to be, he's always in I don't know the right word. He's always in a great mindset where he's always happy. He's Scott's an amazing player, and he just seemed to be in an amazing headspace.
He was completely focused. I think he knew what the agenda was.
Yeah.
He knew what chips he had. He knew the style, like understood the game well, and knew the situation that was coming up. And like I played with him for a lot of hours in that tournament. I was his direct left for a while. And, you know, Scott was playing some Scott hands, but he was making good decisions, and he was even beating himself up because he cost himself like half a big bet in a spot versus me. And like he's one of those so smart, so successful, and perfectionist in poker, but there's a reason why he's one of the top in the game. So
yeah, it was quite obvious that, I mean, it was from that dinner break on, it was his tournament to lose. And there was a point where, you know, one of the big things about tournament poker is preparing yourself, when you're chip leader of a tournament, is preparing yourself for the time that you're not going to be chip leader. And he overcame that and went from chip leader to back to just an average stack, and then overcame it and ended up winning. And you know, hats off to Scott. Amazing player, great dude. You know, fun to be around. You know, when I went to the hockey, the Game 7 of the hockey last year, Scott was there, and he's just always fun to be around.
do you know what else happened that day?
Oh, Mr. Deeb caught up with Josh.
Yeah.
Oh no, you got ahead of me there.
Yeah, that was me getting to 6.
That was you getting to 6 first.
Because I had, after Josh won five last year, I put out a message in our group chat and they've tweeted out that if Josh got to 6 before me, I was going to retire from poker. So literally like 4 days later, I made sure to win 6 so I didn't have to retire again.
He also said that if Josh gets in the Hall of Fame before him, he's going to retire.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, it's going to be close.
I did not say
We're
that.
going to have a retirement party for Shaun in about 3 weeks.
Well, Scott Seiver, his 5th bracelet, he said is probably his favorite. I think he won his first back in 2008. But this one, he said he was very proud that he set out to win a bracelet this year and did. And he actually had a really great interview. Here it is.
We're here with Scott Seiver, who has just endured a grueling final table spanning 2 days to capture his 5th World Series of Poker bracelet. How you feeling?
Honestly, I feel great. This was exhausting. I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of, if not like, the longest non-main event tournament there's been. I can't believe how long this was, but I feel great now that I've won. This bracelet actually means a lot to me because everyone plays a tournament, they always want to win. But I came into this summer with a real desire to try and win as many bracelets as I can, to truly focus on tournaments. I made a lot of bets with a lot of people on trying to win bracelets. I really told myself I'm going to see what happens if I just push myself as hard as I can. And here I am, first 10K, first victory. I think my style of play, especially in Omaha 8 or better or split pot games in general, allows me to survive on a short stack for a long time. And I just felt I was able to push enough opportunities in that would have been able to keep me in where maybe other people would have had to have gone out.
Is the Poker Hall of Fame something that's on your mind?
It's literally the reason I'm doing this right now. I think that some people that aren't supremely familiar with poker might have forgotten me as much. I've been really playing mostly cash games, very high stakes nosebleed games, but more out of the tournament scene, which makes it more out of the public eye. And turning 40 next year, that's why I wanted to come play these tournaments and just put some cherries on top of a resume. I think I'm pretty analogous to a career of like Brian Rast. Honestly, I've been one of the best in the world at cash games, heads up no limit, tournaments, literally almost any form of poker there's been. And I just feel that it was important to let people know that I'm still here and doing this.
All right, congratulations again to Scott Seiver. Some other recent bracelet winners was David Prociak winning the $1,500 Badugi for his second bracelet and $130,000. Particularly happy for that one because I drafted him in my ODB fantasy team. He tweeted
highest owning percentage of ODB, which I was very surprised about. Not like he's a bad player. I thought this was by far the strongest bonus player year ever.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And he just had tweeted that he's going to play a full schedule, which is why I drafted him. And here he is winning a bracelet. Another was France's, I'm going to butcher this name, Thibault Perissat. Won the event number 14, the $1,000 Super Bounty Turbo, 2,639 entrants, won it for almost $200K. Josh, you went deep in that one.
Yeah, I did. That was fun. I got lucky a bunch, got unlucky a bunch.
Misplayed a lot of hands.
Obviously. But yeah, it was a fun run, and I was a couple flips away from having a lot of chips.
Ultimately in 14th place. Did you hit a field bonus at least for the fantasy?
You know, I did, but this is the first year that I've been drafted that I don't have a piece of the team that I'm on, so I'm not even looking at field bonuses.
Another big winner last night, Simeon Spasov out of Bulgaria, won event number 12, the 1,500, six-handed no limit, second bracelet, and $439,000. So some big winners. There's the Dealer's Choice, which was supposed to finish, but as we're recording this, they're coming back with three. Robert Mizrachi is chip leader, which I thought was interesting. He was a dollar player in the fantasy draft. Kind of took offense to that, and here he is going, I think it would be his fifth bracelet, if I remember right.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to him in the 08 for a while, and he said only one person knew he was playing a full schedule. Like, Rob's a good player, but you never really know where his head at. If he's in Vegas, what's going on with, other stuff. So, yeah, that's the crazy thing about the draft. There's so many elite players who don't always take the summer seriously, with me or Josh, and that's kind of, part of the reason Josh and them gave me so much shit for the team I drafted is like, if these players have a good week or two and they just stay out here, they're going to crush, but occasionally they just go home.
Well, there are 19 teams in the league right now. Team The Dinkers is on top with 274 points. Team Oz, which is Gary Benson out of Australia, 248 points. And then all the way at the other flip side, there's two teams on the bottom with 11 points. Team Chingas and Team Lucky. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, a few people...
Yeah, hold on. Let's talk about this. I'm going to let you talk.
So a few people I think are some of the greatest players in the world I drafted for a lot of points. Dylan Lindy has a new girlfriend, so he's playing a little bit less. Adrian Mateos just showed up yesterday. Dan Wyman's fiance bid on him like it was a auction. And he had go home for a few weeks. So I have Glantz, who has played 10 tournaments and won cash, and I don't know. I think that we have a lot of my team drafted was for the 250K no limit. Have a few people playing that. There's a lot of bigger stuff coming. It's only week one. Like, everyone kind of gets too hooked, and a couple people hit field bonuses, a couple people didn't, but Pads is out here. I love rooting for Pads.
Pads is definitely my favorite player on our team.
Yeah.
Even ahead of Dan and Matt. Pads is a cool dude.
Yeah, talking to Pads on the bubble of the 08, like, he's just coming home. He's like, dude, these guys are just punting so hard. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he can't believe it. It's like these great no-limit tournament players who have transitioned to more and more mixed, like João Vieira, João Samoa, Yuri, all these great poker players. The more they play mixed, they always just come talk to me like, has it always been like this? I'm like, it was even better. Like, when I got in a mix 12, 15 years ago, the stuff I saw from these guys was just unbelievable. They did not understand tournament dynamics because everyone who played mixed back then were cash game players. There was very few good tournament players playing mix. Right. And so when I first got to mix, I had some amazing results for that reason.
You do have some sweats today as we're recording this. Eric Seidel is on a day 2, I believe, Scott Ball. So you should hopefully be getting some more points. Somebody that
Scott Ball is on our team?
Yeah. He had like 1.7 million in the mystery bounty and was asking me when's the field bonus. He was trying to get there.
Oh, cool.
Team The Dinkers is on top, 274 points. They've got some power hitters. Bryce Yockey, who won a bracelet. David Coleman, Brian Rast. They're going to get more points because Robert Mizrachi is on their team, so they're going to open up that lead maybe a little bit. Ben Lamb, who you mentioned earlier. But
yeah,
as
he
you
got
said,
4th in the Dealer's Choice.
Yeah, it's still very early in the fantasy, as you said, if somebody catches fire towards the end. The best performing players right now through the first 10 days of the WSOP, John Riordan in 104 points is on top. There's a bunch of others with just over 100 points. But as you said, it's because of that field bonus and that mystery millions. Like, that really skewed things.
Yeah, it's winning a 10K
heavy.
bracelet. Like, it's
right.
I know Daniel said he's making some changes of that next year to cap it at 99 players. I think that shouldn't go away personally. I think field bonuses are great. It allows us to draft more players because I think next year we're going to have 25 to 30 teams. I just have that feeling. All the hype, thanks to what PokerNews is doing, all the people I talked to at the tables, ODB draft, I think, was up to 750 teams this year. That's going to be 1,000 next year. Like, they're going to just keep growing and growing. And I think we need to incorporate something because you need to be able to draft more players that can actually score as opposed to just getting players who can get 20 points and not be relevant.
Right. Well, speaking of growing the game, the World Series of Poker is bigger and better than ever. And recently, Jack Binion came down to the Horseshoe and did a little fun video with my good colleague and friend Jesse Folan, who is working for the WSOP this summer, in which he reflected on the WSOP. And I want to show that clip right here.
This is the 55th year of the World Series of Poker. I just can't believe it's been 55 years. My name's Jack Binion. Me and my father started the World Series of Poker in 1970. In fact, the first year or two, it wasn't a tournament, it was just voted. When they first started, there was only 7 players did the freeze out. And that's how the World Series of Poker tournament really started. Last year, there was over 10,000 players. This year, it's probably going to be more than 10,000 players. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. When me and my father started the World Series of Poker, we wanted to see who really was the best poker player. 55 years later, this is where you still come to test your skills. Win a bracelet and have your name in history books. That's what everybody wants. Welcome to the World Series of Poker.
All right, so there you have it. Very cool to see Jack Binion at the Horseshoe. Gentlemen, I know you both have made a day 2 and need to get back to the Horseshoe for the WSOP. Is the plan this summer just playing every day, the full grind?
I can't imagine ever taking a day off in the summer.
Yeah, it's the only time of the year that I play. I might play two, maybe 3 quick stops the rest of the year, but I just wake up every morning and just know that I'm going to go sit and play poker for 12 or 14 hours. In most cases, I just take the dollar sign out of it and don't think about the limit that I'm playing. You know, maybe sometimes in the lower buy-in stuff, I'll fire real quick and try to spin something up to then play poker. But yeah, I just expect to sit and work for 12 to 14 hours a day, every day.
Love it.
And I want to say, I know Josh will agree with this, that part of the reason we can do this every summer is our awesome wives. Ashley and Rachel do take care of so much stuff for us, take care of our kids, do every little step we need done. It's awesome. I couldn't pull this off without her. And she gives me completely free reign to do what I got to do, and she takes care of all the shit at home.
Yeah, Ashley is an absolute saint. She's amazing. Rachel's amazing. We just got married a month ago, and she absolutely, this is her favorite time of year. She comes out with me, and she makes sure that everything in my life is sealed outside of poker. I don't have to think about anything other than going and playing poker for 40-something days straight. And I'm sure Ashley does the same for you. And
she literally just blocks up. Like, I get home and she's like, so-and-so passed away 3 weeks ago. Like, she literally hides. She knows it's like, I'm not going to come home. There's nothing I can do. Like, if she tells me something during the series, I know it's very important. So, like, that's kind of it. It's sad to miss so many of those things, but, like, it's, part of my job. This is my best time to earn, and this is what I have to do for my job.
And I mean, she's over there, holding down 2 hellion kids. And
the kids have been battling as always. If you guys think I'm feisty, you watch my 2 boys, you'll see where it's genetic. It's not my fault.
Yeah, the wives are definitely the backbone of success for sure.
And Team Lucky, the backbone, maybe the hidden force of
for
Team
sure.
Lucky.
They're official
hidden.
members. We need. My wife's going to come out here at some point this summer. She says she wants to make sure she has a Team Lucky badge on her chip counts as well. So we're going to make sure that happens.
Yeah, in the chat, she's like, I think she's starting some coaching or something. She's like, I want to win some money.
She joined Pocket Queens. I've been trying her for the last few years. I'm very close with Victoria Lipschwitz, who organizes that. So Ashley, right after Sarah got her Hendon mob, which can we pull up Sarah's, Dan's fiance's Hendon mob? Let's go to a clip right here of Sarah's Hendon mob, and you will see the greatest painting ever made by Dan Weinman.
I will throw that in there.
It's a sight.
Did we show you?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
but,
no, you got to pull. We need a live reaction of Chad.
Yeah.
All right, what's the name?
Sarah Runner.
Okay, on Hendon,
Hendon.
right?
Hendon,
Yeah.
yep.
You know what that is? That like the couple challenge where they're painting each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So we found the one thing that Dan Wyman is not good at. He literally is great at pickleball, golf, ping pong, tennis,
Everything.
every game of
anything
poker.
he does, chess, Fortnite. He beats me at everything. And I haven't done this yet, but I'm willing to gamble that I can fucking paint better than Dan.
I will definitely get my wife's pigment correct at least.
I'm so glad you showed me that.
Yeah.
It's really one of the greatest things, and Dan's getting married to her in September. I'm gonna be the best man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to. Two of my best friends getting married the same year. We just got to find someone for Matt someday.
DJ.
Hey, he asked not to be mentioned.
All right, well, Shaun Deeb, Josh Arieh, Team Lucky. If you want to know more about Team Lucky, we are going to have a feature article on PokerNews.com. Please remember that there are 2 episodes of the Poker News Podcast every week during the 2024 World Series of Poker on Tuesdays and Fridays. We will be back next week with all the latest and greatest. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.